you. Thank you. Good morning, Democrats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heavy lifting each and every one of you did last November to deliver some very, very important victories. Among the most important, the re-election of President Barack Obama and the defeat of Proposition 32, ensuring that here in California, yes, always here in California, we have the backs of working families. Now, what makes the difference in California elections is the power of our grassroots. If you have not already become a member of DEM 2014, please do so today. Your monthly contribution to DEM 2014 makes a powerful statement about where the heart and soul and muscle of this party lie. No contribution is too small, but what's important is that we get to 100% participation among us. So please join me and become a member of DEM 2014 today so we may continue building and strengthening our grassroots. Now, fellow Democrats, these are exciting yet anxious times for our country and our state. We are on our way to the broadest healthcare expansion in modern history under the Affordable Care Act. We are close to witnessing a bipartisan comprehensive immigration reform proposal emerge from the United States Senate. And yet we are facing massive unfunded liabilities to our public pension systems that must be addressed to ensure retirees' purchasing power. And we are hearing more about tax reform lately, not because tax day is approaching, but because of the increasing awareness that our current tax structure, which has left the middle class and low-income families behind, is unsustainable. Once again, as Democrats, we have the backs of working families. Yes, healthcare reform to expand coverage to the 6 million Californians who lack it. Yes, comprehensive immigration reform to provide a pathway to citizenship for the 2 million undocumented persons in our state. Yes, pension reform to guarantee retirement security for the 1.1 million members and the over 550,000 retirees in CalPERS, for the 862,000 educator members in CalSTRS, and the millions who have worked hard and are or will rely on Social Security for retirement income. Yes, tax reform to level the tax burden between the wealthy 1% of households and the rest of us, and to ensure that corporations pay their fair share of taxes. I welcome the opportunities these reforms will bring, but at the same time, remain anxious about the challenges achieving these reforms will present. However, I submit to you that we are facing an even greater crisis of epidemic proportions that potentially undermines the success in addressing every social and economic issue. And that crisis is the growing income inequality that is afflicting California, the United States, and other nations across this globe. The widening income gap can no longer be shoved aside, can no longer be dismissed as a symptom or side effect of the Great Recession. And we need only look around us to see how the recovery has not taken hold for all Americans. In fact, it is a two-tiered recovery. Left unaddressed, income inequality will render the successes of healthcare reform, immigration reform, pension reform, and tax reform as mere band-aids to some of our most pressing public policy concerns. Income inequality is bad for Americans, and it is bad for business as it threatens to plunge us into more frequent and deeper recessions and overall social instability. Now, many of us remember President John F. Kennedy's quote, "A rising tide raises all boats," when he described how incomes in all households increase when the economy grows. To which some would say, duh, of course the income gap widens when we see top incomes rise more than those at the bottom of the income ladder. Others would argue that economic growth cannot be sustained as the income chasm deepens. I say to you, yes, a rising tide raises all boats, but our work is to be sure that no one is thrown overboard. Fellow Democrats, let us wake up from being the complacent and compliant middle class to the Republican agenda that has robbed us of all the gains for which we have worked hard and concentrated wealth in the hands of a few. It is time for us to get on with the business of creating jobs and growing the economy by unapologetically supporting investments in public education, keeping our social safety net intact for the most vulnerable among us, investing in innovation, and insisting that corporations and the wealthy pay their fair share. So that, as my good friend Kimberly Ellis with Emerge California tells aspiring women, what she tells aspiring women, as we climb, we lift. As we climb, we lift, so that no one is left behind. Thank you, Democrats.